All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Monday afternoon, March 28th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see Donnie, who picked up about 20 cents on AMC just now. Great to see Will. Great to see Brian, Alex, Michael, all of our other students and members alike inside the cyber group room. Let's just get a quick sound check to begin. Make sure everybody can hear me loud and clear across there. And then, of course, if you're joining us once again on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, same to be said. Right back at you, folks. Welcome on back as well. Great to see Steve, Will, Kathleen, Leda. Perfect. All right, so loud and clear from all. We're good to go. And with that said, folks, I'll tell you what. We're going to go right from top to bottom. We're going to do this really quick. We have the Phase 2 course curriculum continuing this afternoon, and we're going to continue our discussion on shorting. Hasn't been the greatest day necessarily to short. Hey, little drop off early in the market, and we had a couple of opportunities that we saw live together. But right now at least you could see the SPY on my 5-minute chart beginning to make a nice bounce, at least even from 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But getting actually pretty close to the highs. So there could actually be a pretty nice rally here heading into the close. One of our members, Milton, just said that. Said Fed explains market strength. So with that, let's go right from top to bottom here. And I also want to talk a lot about crypto at the end as well. I want to save some time for any of my crypto heads out there like myself. So DATS on the screen to begin, number 2 on the gainers list at least. So pretty much at the top. Right away, we're going to put this on our watch list. Still looks pretty strong heading into the close. Trying to make that bounce right now as we speak. DATS. I think that the news that came out on DATS was like NFT or crypto affiliated or related, right? Yeah, Dat Chat shares. That's a funny name. Dat Chat shares are trading higher after the company announced it would launch a metaverse advertising and NFT monetization platform. I mean, hey, led to a nice reaction from the market, at least early in pre-market after the open. Made that famous slingshot type of move, trying to make another slingshot right now up towards 310. Not even at 3 as much, but at 310, there's about a 50,000 plus share order on the ask. So just be careful there. All right, so that's looking really good. I think the HYMC trade's still looking pretty nice as well right now. Ended up making a great move from this morning. Ah, man, looking at this trade, I just get frustrated looking at it. I missed such an easy, clean trade. I was all over this stock, and my stupid eyes went towards AMC, and I ended up missing this as it ended up breaking right above its opening bell print price at 168. I even missed the bounce, ended up pulling back to there, and ended up running right on up towards 2. I don't drop the E word that often. We have a couple of not curse words, but you know, words we don't like to use here in trading as much. One word would be guarantee. I really don't like using the word guarantee. Another word I don't like using is easy because trading is not easy. Much more often than not, it is quite fast moving. It can be very complicated at times at that. So we have to be as prepared as possible to try and take trades. Well, man, I was as prepared as could be. I lost focus. I moved to AMC, and that was, really volatile. So that kind of distracted me. And then right when I turned back to this thing, I felt as if I'd be chasing it. So I decided not to get in. And man, look at where this thing is now. I can't say I'd be holding on the whole way through from 168, but that's an easy 32 cents all the way up towards at least $2. Then the rebreak later on going into the early afternoon. So you know what? Enough complaining. But HYMC, for those of us not joining me in class this afternoon, I think that this would be a good trade for you to follow at that, trying to make a move up towards the highs from early to mid-March. Yeah, I was going to say it's like not an IPO as much. You can see it dropped off here, at least back from early 20 from 14 down. So, hey, in relation to short trading, I don't know the numbers on it. I'd have to take a look, but just looking at this type of drop off here, the shorts are covering. The shorts are covering on HYMC. So yeah, we'll definitely put this on our watch list. The DATS trade, Dat Chat, Newegg. How about this one here? Ended up making a really nice pop for us. I mean, obviously here, but made a really nice pop for us back last year going into early July. These types of runners that we call out inside the cyber group room, well, at least the ones that look like this, you'll tend to remember like the back of your hand. So anytime I, see Kodak up big, I'll obviously go to the daily chart. Anytime we have a chance to talk about Tilray, I'll go to the daily chart and your weekly chart, whatever it is, and show that at the time. Newegg. This ended up making such a nice pop for us last year. So I'll say it here as I typically say on these runners. If we could see this stock make a fraction of the type of move it made for us back in July of 21, then that's a home run. So absolutely, we'll put this one back on our list here. Not really showing much in terms of an iceberg order to follow. I don't have my level 4 up for this trade just yet, but I would assume to have resistance off of 8 at a minimum. All right, let's see what else we got here in the meantime. Probably a couple of water breaks in between here. KXIN, not a whole lot going on aside from this big shake, but I'm not expecting a pop from that point. All right, AMC, a little AMC chat for right now. So, man, I mean, hey, my eyes were on AMC and I ended up missing the HYMC trade, but I ended up catching AMC on a smaller position. 500 shares I ended up getting in off of, but it was from 2160. I owe Rich a beer here, Rich L inside of inside our office. I mean, I tell you, he ended up calling out this 600,000 share print that got filled on the bid off of 2160, and that's the type of call out that I would make if I saw it right away. I was not watching AMC at that very point or the chat, and I was watching another trade. So I look at the chat. I see Rich's post inside the live trading room. It said AMC 600,000 share print filled at 2160. Just like I teach you folks in Traders Talk or Phase 2 class coming up even, in 30 or so minutes, I'll be teaching this exact concept. If let's say if there's like a 20 or 30 or even like 70,000 share iceberg order out there. All right, well, what's bigger? 70,000 shares on the ask or I don't know, 600,000 share print that came in on the tape? I'd go with the 600,000. I knew that that was just such an enormous level that if we ended up seeing AMC break through that price again going up, then that leads to a really good opportunity. So I ended up doing that. My only regret is not holding on longer than I did. I ended up getting out with like over $1 on the trade, but I'm not trying to hold on like that and get greedy. Pigs get slaughtered, right? So, that's where I say, like, for a Monday, for the end of the pay period here at the end of March, I'm not trying to like get greedy here. I don't want to have a whole wasted profit. I missed out on the HYMC trade. So this I felt I did well on, but man, this just kept going. So we actually showed this in class earlier today in regards, to shorting and, really when it's not the best time to short, mind you. And it actually showed, well, hey, 25 could have been a bit of a level to try and short from based off our strategy, based off what I teach you folks in class. There was zero chance to try and short AMC at that point. And once you see resistance break and the stock runs from it, well, eventually resistance should turn into support. And that's what happens here. This ended up, having a choppy time around 25, but albeit held higher lows from there, ended up moving up beautifully. And then obviously now trying to make another run. So, of course, at this point, how could we not? AMC alongside the HYMC trade and DATS and Newegg here. Really good watch list so far heading into the close. And the hits keep on rolling, right? So CELZ, another big pop right now, at least, it's kind of dead across the late morning, early afternoon. But right now, at least, making another nice push up towards the highs. I don't have bookmap up for this trade, folks, but I'm sure Rich will make the post or call out when he jumps back on the mic this afternoon. But yeah, CELZ, just no brainer with where it's at right now, right at the highs heading into the afternoon here. All right, water break number 2. Let's keep it going here. STRN, familiar name. Wow, nice push on this one also. We ended up calling out STRN. It was more so going back into the end of last year. Geez, I mean, time flies. I just came off a coaching session and one of my students said that to me. I thought this was maybe like a month ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago. It feels like STRN. You guys remember this inside the Cyber Group room? Ended up making a really nice run here, seemingly from like $3 ultimately up towards 650. It broke an all-time high. It was a bit of a dud at that point, though, unfortunately, and came screaming back down. You take your eyes off a stock for a little bit. You forget about it and see where it's gone from. But yeah, right now at least, hey, if this stock can make a fraction of the type of run it made for us back then, we'll take it. All right, let's see what else we got here. CRXT, I know popped earlier. I don't know if it popped and dropped. Yeah, chart's not looking that great. GameStop up 13 plus percent. So, that's moving up with AMC. It's like a meme stock. If you have options on it, that would be the preferred play. You can't really trade a lot of shares of the equity. Riot and all the other Bitcoin mining affiliated stocks. We'll get to Bitcoin just at the end of this meeting, folks. But right now, looking flat here for right now. IQ. How about this one? This one I've been talking about for a little while now. Now, I'm not going to pat myself too much in the back because it's not like I told you when exactly this would begin to squeeze up. Like a month ago, 2 months ago, I said, to be, very exact, I said, I don't know if it will be next week, next month, next year, but, for as much as this stock dropped off, it was like a $60 stock at one point or $50 stock. Got to imagine the shorts to cover at some point in time. So we've actually had a pretty nice rally on this trade. I mean, really well over the last 2.5 weeks. It's up 8.5% right now. It's near the highs. Does it hurt us to put this on our watch list? No. But I want to see what else we got here for right now. We have like 6 on there already, so I don't want to have too many stocks on there at the tail end. But let's see what else we got here. Some obviously much bigger cap stocks like Tesla, Coinbase up big right now too. All right. Bed Bath. How about this from Mitch on YouTube? Bed Bath Beyond. I didn't see this up until now. Holy smokes. All right. So, hey, I talked about this at the end of last week, but, more in the sense of like this running with the other meme stocks like AMC and GameStop. Surprisingly enough, Bed Bath Beyond didn't run with AMC last week, and that's what confused us. Well, I don't know what's up right now, Mitch from YouTube right now, joining us as he typically does, but that's a really good call out. Let's see, from 2:41 Eastern time, and it's just saying, yeah, the Wall Street Bets Reddit page, the meme stock people are back in full force. Express, Bed Bath Beyond that we just showed. BlackBerry making a hell of a push right now. This looks really nice. We got COS, which is definitely more of a level 5, but that I reckon is going with the others too. All right, so if I put one of them on now, this is where I said rather focus on these. So Express, Bed Bath Beyond, BlackBerry, all looking really sharp here right now. COS at the tail end, but the spread's ugly, paper thin. RKT, how about this one from Bobby? Yeah, it looks really nice here also. I forgot about Rocket Mortgage, right? All right, well, there we go. Let's see what we have on the loser side for right now. I'm sure there could be one or two more that make a big pop. I got to get to some Bitcoin here at the end, folks. I got to save enough time for that. I got to save enough time for all of our students to make sure that they're good to go for class right at 3:05 Eastern time in just about T minus 20. Um, RETA, man, this was like a really low volume short early on this morning. It picked up a little bit more, volume later on, but that was more so kind of after it bottomed out around the 25 area, 24.50. But right now, kind of flat here. More of a gamble than anything this trade. KLXE shortable actually at the low of the day, but I actually didn't even mean to click on it. It's like only trading 500,000 shares. Not really a whole lot right now. Market's pushing up, so I'm not expecting for there to be a whole lot more on this loser side that looks too tempting. ACAD down 9%, 1.5 mil across the day. Kind of thin tiers, but tight spread, near the lows. How about this? I'm not even as keen to put it on the afternoon watch list, but I'm going to write this down because this afternoon's class does revolve around shorting. So this could be a decent little short if the stars align. So I'll definitely come back to it more for class's sake here. Lewis on the STRN. We already have that on the list, Lewis. Looking good. Going back to IQ quick, not a whole lot happening there. All right, folks. So let's do a little Bitcoin, a little crypto here before we close out for today, at least being March 28th, Monday. Now, I'm going to show level 4 for Bookmap here in a second, that being the heat map that we have, not just for Bitcoin, but for pretty much all of crypto. Most, exchanges you could look to follow it on, and, most cryptos, at least the major ones, you could absolutely look to do it with. But, little news coming out here with crypto. Over the last week, actually, a couple of weeks, it's been rumored, but really now at this point, it's been all but confirmed. So if anyone's familiar with what's called the Terra blockchain, Terra is otherwise known as Luna, an abbreviation. So if anyone's known of the Luna coin, well, it's on Terra blockchain. So with that, the founder of Terra, his name's Do Kwon, a Korean gentleman. But he ended up hinting last week, 2 weeks ago, at a huge purchase to back up the blockchain, to back up Terra blockchain by purchasing $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. Now, this was rumored 2 weeks ago, so I didn't want to make a big fuss about it at the time. I read up about it the second the rumor came out, but I didn't want to say much about the rumor because, hey, I don't know if it's true or not. We don't know if it's going to happen, when it will happen, but it happens. So what I don't have on me right now, prepared at least, unfortunately, you could actually check out the wallet that Do Kwon and Terra as a whole are using to accumulate this Bitcoin with. It's crazy. Well, what I did mention to you folks, and this was back 2 Fridays ago, so not this past Friday, but from the Friday before on March 18th. You can go back to the afternoon meeting. We actually clipped off that video regarding Bitcoin at the time. I ended up showing a leveraged long position that I took on Bitcoin. And I got in under 40,000 at 39.7 at the time it was. It's for about 1.93 Bitcoin leveraged in at. So from there, it was off to a good start. Well, this here is the 30-minute chart of Bitcoin. This is actually on the exchange Bitfinex, which is a really important exchange in regards to leveraged trading. You get the bigger, whales out there, so to say, trading on Bitfinex. Well, really, this is just from last night heading into the morning here today. I mean, over the weekend, we ended up seeing a huge rally on Bitcoin. And, my belief is that it's based off of Do Kwon's purchase. And he's continuing to buy Bitcoin for the Terra blockchain over the next, I think, month and a half, even it is, if not more. So, with that, we ended up seeing a really nice squeeze on Bitcoin, not only since the time that I told you about my position from 39.7, but even over the weekend, huge pop right over 45,000 to the point where we're getting a lot closer, or to the point where we're getting closer to that 49,000 target that I gave you folks. We're getting there a lot sooner than I thought we would be getting there at, which is pretty interesting. So I want to show you two things here on this heat map, maybe more. I don't know. We'll see how much time we got. But, first and foremost, this is the Bitfinex exchange. This will look really like clumpy up in a second here. So my apologies. But this is pretty interesting. So over the last, I don't know, like 3.5 days, 4 days, this works just like Bookmap, level 4 that we use for stocks. So you could basically see Bitcoin's action here going on up, and any of the darker lines that stretch across are big sell orders. Any of these are big buy orders below it. What the hell happens here? If you look at all of this right here, at first we ended up seeing like a giant wall of resistance pop up on the Bitfinex exchange here from 45,000 up towards just about 48. So that clearly tells me that someone is trying to scale out of a big position that they're in. So I ended up going back on Bitfinex and take a look at this. Pretty similar order flow. This is back from late February. I never noticed this until like the last few days, which is pretty cool. We ended up seeing this buyer, just a stack of big orders on the bid, probably for around anywhere of 25 to 50 Bitcoin per price level. But it ended up crashing into that liquidity, meaning that whoever was looking to buy there bought it. Well, look what happens. It ended up supporting the move altogether. It bounced back up. Whoever bought there is looking like a freaking wizard, a genius. And now at this point, Well, at first, we ended up seeing, a stack of orders pop up on the ask. That's going to be resistance. That could be the same buyer that ended up loading up here, roughly around 35,000 to 39,000 or 37,000, that is. So, just be mindful of this right now. But even over the last day and a half, 2 days, as I zoom in, probably another water break here. Been a long day of talking. My apologies on that. But you could see, at least at this point over the last day and a half, well, very similar to this stack of volume on the ask, sell orders. We have a stack of volume on the bid. We have a big fight here right now between the bulls and the bears. To be transparent, it's not exactly much of a fight so far. As soon as this volume stacked up on the bid here, well, we ended up getting a big pop. So a lot of this volume's already been filled. The question is, does it continue? Does it continue to squeeze past this liquidity? Does Bitcoin not really care for that seller? Or does that seller know something about the future move of Bitcoin that most don't? That's what we're going to have to react towards over the next, week and a half, 2 weeks. Skip here inside our live trading room as we do this live stream right now says, let it ride. Skip, I agree with you. Personally, I agree with you. But that's only a prediction. That's only a guess. Let's see what happens here right now, because I want to show you just, here's the Bitcoin daily chart. But a couple of things with this. And hey, with Bitcoin and swing trading in particular, I am more on the tech analysis side of things. So one thing that I definitely have been following over the last month or so, month and a half, not even as much of a fib retracement or extension, which I love to do at times, but a fib channel. This is really cool to see, folks. Watch this. So for a fib channel, you have to kind of connect two strong swing bottoms, and then really you connect it afterwards to a swing top. Now, where I'm going with this is that if we kind of take a look at Bitcoin's future movement, I'm going to make this pretty transparent. It'll be easier to see. So you could see essentially it blasted right through this line right here, the 38.2% fib retracement or fib channel line, we'll call it, blasted right over that over the last day, 2 days. What's our next fib level? Right here, the 50% channel line, we'll call it. So that would be a pretty interesting point of resistance. Otherwise, I was calling out 49 or so thousand as a local top because more of like an EMA crossover thing. Right over here, you could see where ultimately I believe that's the 200 and 500 EMAs cross. There's also another cross here between the 2 and 500. Another one here. So these tend to be technical levels oftentimes. So between that, along with now this, I think that is a really interesting resistance to follow over the next, we'll call it 2 to 4 weeks. How about that? All right, so that's all I got for you here with crypto, folks. Otherwise, it's more or less a fight between the bulls and the bears here on the Bitfinex exchange. We'll track this over the next week, honestly, every day, every hour. I'm keeping my eye on this. But, if we happen to see any major liquidity get pulled, that would be the bigger talking point to see what happens. I mean, we're almost already there to seeing most of this liquidity get broken through. So, should it? Maybe we get that last squeeze up towards 49 to 50,000. How about that? All right, Deb M inside our live trading room. Again, we're doing this more of a live stream, although we're going to clip this recording off and post it on our YouTube channel. Deb M inside our Cyber Group trading room asking, is Luna a good buy right now? So that would be more dependent on, well, in technical terms, it would be more dependent on Luna's, the Luna to Bitcoin chart, the pairing of those two, that chart. So if you look up the Luna BTC chart, look for a local support level to follow, and that is a better play for you to look at in terms of looking for any altcoin entry. So that would be the first thing I would say. But otherwise, though, it's tough to give a more thorough answer. We're kind of running limited time right now just because we have class coming up in about 10 minutes. I want to make sure this watch list is posted, and then otherwise, hey folks, if you have any other questions for Deb or any one of us inside the Cyber Group room, or if you're on our stream right now, any questions that you may have, feel more than free to chat me. You could private chat me if it's inside our live trading room. You could always shoot me a quick email here, as I always like to post at the end of our streams. So that being josh@ctutrading.com. All right. We ended up doing a live stream. It was more of a test run, but we did a 2-hour live stream on Friday night of just the Bitcoin heat map. So I would say, folks, if you're following our YouTube channel, if you're not following our YouTube channel yet, click the subscribe button right there, and you'll get the notifications on when we'll be doing that next. Let's just say it's a lot sooner than later. All right, folks, I look forward to it. But for all of us inside our live trading room right now, for George, Deb, Michael, Brian, Skip, Lewis, I look forward to talking to most of us coming up in the Phase 2 stock course class coming up in just about 5 or so minutes. Take care.